relationship you have with him now, and how he has to remember you're a coach now. That it was 8 years to separate you guys, and it's just that you guys have changed, both have grown in different ways, and it's got to feel that way a little bit too, because
it is. Some of the coaches still call me buddy and things like that, but it's good, man. I think it's a good mesh of there's only one guy I shared the locker room with that's still on this team. That's Big Paul.
Yeah.
He's like a 10th year senior now.
Oh God, yeah, no kidding.
But it's been good, man. It's Coach Frost has always been like a big brother / father figure, so I think it's become more big brother-ish now that we're co-workers and he's my boss.
Yeah. Do you remember? I mean, when he first took the job here the second time, I mean, what did you kind of have a feeling you were interested in maybe coming back? Did he reach out to you beforehand? What was that kind of process like for you? Because you were working with Tennessee. I mean, it wasn't like you were out of football or anything, but there was.
Yeah, I heard some murmurs, shortly after the news about Coach Malzahn surfaced, and over that next week heard some more murmurs, and just in terms of the possibilities, and Coach and I talked, and I talked to Coach Hype as well. Just I thought it was an outside shot in all reality. I thought it made the most sense, but I didn't know if it actually happened for our university. And when Coach called me, it would have took a lot for me to leave the place I was at, just with the relationships I had up there.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is kind of impossible to say no to.
What was the reaction from your family when you said, "Hey, I'm thinking of going back"? What was their? I mean, UCF's been a big part of their lives too, as well. So.
Well, obviously, my mom was super excited, Dad super excited, and my wife too. We're both Knights, so and all her family's out here in Florida. So this is home away from home for us, and I couldn't be happier.
How has it kind of been for you being back now and coming back here? You're no longer the quarterback. You're the quarterback coach. You're coach. People might not be calling you KZ all the time. It's coach and all types of stuff. How's that been? It's
an honor, man. This is something I dreamed about. Kind of always. When I got into UCF as a freshman, one of the things I asked Coach was, if I wanted a GA after I was done playing, would you give me an opportunity? And he said yes. So that was a big reason why I came here. God's got a funny way of working things out. My first quarterback coach used to always tell me, you want to make God laugh, tell him your plan. And I always had plans to be back here at some point. Didn't think or imagine to be this fast, but I'm glad it is.
Do the players just call you Coach? Is it Coach Milton? Is it Coach KZ? What do they call you?
Either Coach KZ, Coach Milton. Just try not to be on a first name basis though. Gotta draw that line somewhere.
What's your philosophy? I mean, you've got an interesting quarterback room. I mean, Scott didn't want to go into specifics, guys, but I mean, you've got an interesting quarterback room. What's your kind of philosophy going into that room when it comes to these guys? What do you want to see from them, and how much of you lean on your experience, as you mentioned, dealing with not just Scott, but also dealing with Josh, who obviously had a big part of your career too as well?
Yeah, just talking to the guys, at the end of the day, the guy that's going to give us the best chance to win is going to be the guy. And I think we got a unique room where we got 4 guys that have all started at some point. So, it's exciting about that. We got guys that have game experience, and I think that brings a lot into the locker room, and there's also a lot to juggle too, just with keeping camaraderie in that room. But so far, the guys have done an awesome job of buying into each other, helping each other out, helping each other learn the offense. So it's been fun, man. Especially the guys that have been here, us bringing in guys, those guys bringing those guys in with open arms has been amazing to see.
Do you envision a wide open quarterback race?
Man, it's hard to say just because we haven't been on the field yet.
Okay.
But like I said, the best guy's going to play. So whoever that ends up being in due time is going to be the guy that takes the helms of this team this year. But it's hard to say just because we haven't touched the football, we haven't thrown it around, and all those guys have played. So it's hard to rep for, but we're going to do our best to give all those guys an opportunity to go show what they can do.
How much of I think I talked to Coach Beckton about this, and he mentioned the first week or 2 weeks that Scott was here, it seemed like every former player came back to Scott. Did it feel that way to you guys in the office? That it seemed like it was everyone wanted to kind of reconnect and be a part of what was going on here?
It did, man. You know, when you do something special, not just on the field, but you know, Coach helped turn a lot of lives around here.
Yeah.
You know that, you know, prior to him getting here, things looked bleak. Just not in football careers, but just you know, lives in general for some of these guys that were here. And when you have someone that's impacted you like that, you want to be around them for life. And when they're back to where you went to school, and you know, it's in your home state and things like that, not 10 degrees somewhere else. You know, it's a lot easier to go see them, right? So I think everybody was super excited. My phone's still blowing up to, like, hey, you guys in the office today? I was like, hey, man, we're on the road, whatever.
Yeah.
But, you know, guys love Coach Frost, just like I love him.
How has that been for you, the whole recruiting process, being on that side of the table now? You were there as a player, but now that you're the coach and trying to recruit players to come here, how has that been?
Oh, it's been good, man. To me, UCF's an easy sell to try and get guys here. Just, I mean, you drive around campus, other than, you know, the construction, which is going to be awesome when it's all said and done. It's still beautiful, man. It's one of the nicest campuses in the country, and then obviously you're going to be surrounded by a lot of talent. And, you know, the reason I came back as soon as I did is this place is easy to sell, and when it's right, it's amongst the best.
How unique is this for you? Coach Frost said you were here, you were a student, now you're an adult, you're growing up, you're married, you have a kid and everything. Like how unique is this for you to be back where it all started, but in a different role, in a more mature role, as some people would say?
Yeah, you know, I'm grateful just for, like I said, the journey guys kind of brought my family and I on. If you would have told me 3 years ago that Coach Frost would be our head coach, I'd be his quarterback coach, I would have said, man, you must be on something different. Just because that didn't really seem like a reality, you know, we just with where I was at, where he was at. But, you know, it's amazing. So I'm humbled to be back here, but just like as a player, UCF's going to get everything that I have as a coach now instead of a player. And I think that will show with, you know, how our quarterbacks prepare, how they play. And, you know, I'm just excited to pour into those guys the knowledge I've gained from the coaches I've played under, everything I've learned, and, you know, just time to pay it forward for those guys.
What are you looking for in a quarterback? What for you? What kind of qualities do you like to see in a quarterback?
Number one, leadership. But to me, leadership isn't always just checking a bunch of boxes and showing up. Leadership, at the end of the day, is performance. So really how you play. Like, yeah. I know it's cookie cutter, easier said than done, but, you know, the leaders on the team are typically the guys that perform. You know, you could be one of the least character guys or the worst character guys, but if you perform, guys are going to follow you. Now with that, I want high character guys that are doing what they're supposed to do, living right on and off the field, bringing guys in for extra work. And what I've seen from our guys so far has been that, you know, and it's awesome to see. And that's something that you recruit, you look into their families and things like that. But high character guys, self-starters that, you know, want to be great, not guys you got to call like 2 minutes before a meeting, like, hey, where you at? Like hoping that they're on time. I mean, there's a laundry list of things, but more than anything, just highly competitive, adaptability, being able to, you know, when things change on the snap of a dime, being able to respond. Those are things I look for in a quarterback. And then obviously just being able to throw football, run, and really being a winner. That's something to look for coming out of high school. You know, I want a guy that can win.
You guys good?
How do you, like, you've implemented, you've learned a little bit from a little bit of other coaches after you left Scott Frost. What do you think you've learned from those other coaches that you'll implement here as the UCF? Yeah,
really just every coach I've been around, whether it's a QB trainer or a head coach at other places, is just, you know, you take some, like most of the good, what you learn from them, and then you kind of wean out some things you might not see eye to eye with as a player and a coach. But I've had the luxury of playing under 3 really, really good head coaches that have done really, really well wherever they've been, and learned from a bunch of really good quarterback coaches. So really just meshing all those things that made the most sense in my eyes as a player and as a coach, and, you know, bringing that to the quarterback room, and, you know, kind of creating a system where we're speaking the same language, and just there's certain things that we'll have in the QB room as standards that, you know, we'll live up to. So, you know, I'm not going to get into all like the details of all those things, but, I've learned a lot from just the guys I've been around, and you guys know who they are. They've done an amazing job wherever they've been.
Now that all this portal stuff is kind of behind us, at least short term, what are you most looking forward to come spring?
Football, man. Like the recruiting part is done. Now we get to actually coach, be around our guys. Like, it's one of the hardest things. I only got to meet with the quarterbacks twice, and then I had to go hit the road for 2 weeks. So, getting back here where it's a dead period, now we can truly build, relationships and, trust. Trust is the most important thing. You come into a new place, guys don't know you, and then you bring in new guys, they still don't know you, and then you're gone for a couple weeks. So it's just part of it. But I do see our guys working. They're busting their butts. They're learning the offense. They're learning the playbook. Now it's, we're getting a little excited to start our OTAs and spring ball here in about a week. So we're fired up to touch football, hit the grass, and that's the fun part of this stuff is the football stuff.
McKenzie, it's been, as Scott mentioned, it's been 8 years. What have you noticed different with Scott this time?
It's hard to say just because I still see the same fire in him that was there as a player. Like, he wants to go win. We all want to go win. Yeah. I think he's just probably more mature. Being a father, of 3 now, and going through everything he's gone through. I think he knows how to. I think he said in his opening presser, just kind of being where your feet are, and just being happy. Like, we're blessed to be here at UCF. He's blessed to be in the position he's in. So I think just being grateful for every day, every moment, being where he's at now. And I think that's the way he's approached, like, at least what I've seen the past couple months, day in and day out, just taking it one day at a time and being grateful for, exactly where we're at. It was, like I said, it was an opportunity that was really hard to say no, and I left a great place where I was at with great people, but Coach Frost, like, man, he's like a father figure. He's like a big brother, so conversation wise, he was like, hey, if I take this, are you gonna come with me? I was like, man, Coach, you know the answer. Like, but I told him also, I have to talk to Coach Heupel before anything's finalized or anything like that, just out of respect I have for Coach Hype and everything he's done for me and my family, and not just the profession, just in life from the time I got hurt. And I do believe Coach Frost called Coach Hype prior to offering me the job as well, just the mutual respect both those guys have for each other, and all that. But there's conversations had leading up to it. And, the biggest thing for me is just open, honest communication, for whoever I'm working for and with, and that's what happened on both sides. But Coach Hype was understanding of me taking this opportunity. He actually texted me today, just checking in. Those are 2 guys that, man, I'm so grateful that I got to experience one as a player, and now getting to work for both of them. I think that's pretty unique.
What was the contrast of emotions of getting an opportunity to come back to a school that means so much to you and to work with Coach Frost, but also to leave Tennessee just before the college football playoff in a game against Ohio State?
Well, the cool thing is, like I said, the 2 guys I work for, Coach Frost and Coach Hype, man, they're both national championship quarterbacks, and they know those opportunities are few and far between. You think back to when Coach Frost came back and coached us while Coach Hype was transitioning as the head coach. So, I do believe being up front with Coach Hype and Coach Frost, just the open communication leading up to taking the job here, helped. And Coach Hype wanted me to come back and help them through the playoffs. So I came down here for about 10 days. Was working on like a skeleton crew with Coach Frost, and I believe it was Tuesday night of the Ohio State week, I flew back up to Tennessee to help fulfill my duties as finishing up there. So it was, I think it's rare that a coach will allow you to come back to help out and want you to come back to help out, and then 2, it's rare to have a coach you now work for allow you to go back. I think it's just a testament to, like I said, those two guys played as national champion quarterbacks, and they know those opportunities are so rare that, if you have that opportunity, you got to go. And that's exactly what Coach Ross told me, and Coach Hype gave me that opportunity, so that wasn't something I was going to pass up. So I'm grateful to both those guys to, in a day and age where guys are opting out of, playing in playoff games, that's something you've worked your whole life for, to go somewhere else when you can still enter a portal after. I think it's a good lesson for guys to learn that, it's more about the team than just yourself. So it was really cool for me, man. Getting to do that, but to answer your question, leaving Tennessee is, it's never easy, leaving people you love, but it is easy when you're coming back to a place that you do love and people that you love as well. So it was too good to turn down, man. Coach Frost and my alma mater,
I want to ask one other question. I asked Frost this during his availability. How has your relationship evolved or changed from him recruiting you out of high school to coaching you as a player for 2 years to now working together on the same staff?
Yeah, I still think it's evolving every day, where, he's learning to trust me more and more, and I'm still learning from him just because, he's done this for so long, and, he's trusted me more and more to run the room, and, I'm still picking his brain on things he sees just because, he's done it at every level, from coaching receivers, DBs, playing DB, playing quarterback. He's got a mind like none other in this game. So, but when it comes to running our offense, I believe he trusts me with, running that room and doing a high quality job. Otherwise, he wouldn't have hired me. So, I do think he's still probably trying to get player KZ out of his head, and now Coach Milton, if you want to call it. But it's been good, man. He's, like I said, I think you asked me what's changed. Coach Frost, I still see him the same. He doesn't really look like he's aged, to be honest.
I don't age that well.
Yeah. But
Appreciate your time.
absolutely appreciate y'all. And that you go through struggles just like they go through struggles, and I feel like when your bond is, tight off the field, not just player to player, but player to coach. And I've seen it here as a player. When you love your coach, you're going to go give everything you got in between the white lines. And that's a byproduct, though, of having a good relationship. I want these guys to be able to come into my door and talk to me when things are tough, have tough conversations, and, God willing, maybe they'll call me one day because they want to get into coaching. That's kind of the impact that I'd like to have, and that's the impact my coaches have had on me. From Coach Frost to Coach Hype, those guys impacted me in a way to where I wanted to pick up the phone, hey, Coach, if there's an opportunity one day, I would love to come work for you. And I think Coach Frost has talked on it. That's the kind of impact you want to leave on your guys, and it's just showing them, not telling them you love them. It's showing them, and that's something that I'm big on. It's not just actions, not just words, but your actions following suit.
So, yeah, I can take that. Thank you. Appreciate you, Coach
Absolutely,
Milton.
brother. Absolutely.
What kind of traits are you guys looking for from your quarterbacks, not just on the field, but also off the field?
Yeah, I think I said it earlier, number one thing is leadership, and I don't think leadership's always just crossing T's and dotting I's. It's, at the end of the day, leadership is performance. You got to go out there and perform on the field, because you could, say all the right things, this and that, but if you don't perform, guys typically won't follow you. So on the field, number one, just consistency, performing at a high level, and then off the field, high character guys, living right, because if you're not living right off the field, eventually it's going to catch up to you and you probably won't be here. So I'll say those two things, and then just being a self-starter, bringing the guys for extra work, things like that. It's very, very hard to be successful as a quarterback just checking boxes, and you'll never reach your potential as a team if your quarterback's just checking boxes. And you can get away with being talented for a while. College typically catches up to you. NFL, it'll for sure catch up to you. But for us to go reach our potential, our QB's got to be the ones leading it in the locker room, and that's something we've talked about. Championships are won and lost in the locker room, not what coaches preach. It's player led.
How do you think being someone that kind of set the standard for your position here helps you communicate with your player and kind of get what you want?
I would say they might respect the what I say a little more, just because it's what we did here in the past. But more than anything, I think they learn to trust you by the way you work, and I believe that they see that one, I care about them. I want them to reach their potential and maximize who they are as people and players. But number two, quarterback is probably the hardest position in sports, and like I said, you can't just check boxes and play this position. You got to be the most buttoned-up guy in terms of knowing your job cold to even give us a chance to be our best. If you kind of know your playbook, we have zero chance to be our best. So, just that's kind of it, man. This position, coaching this position is the funnest thing and the hardest thing, because every guy's a little different. So it's really learning about your guys and kind of how they tick, how they don't, things they struggle with, things they're good at, and it's been fun kind of getting to know these guys more now the last week that have been off the road.
How's it going, Coach? Andrew.
What's up, Andrew? Good to see you again, dog.
Good to see you again. How's everything?
Good, man.
Oh yeah, so, Coach McKenzie Milton. When did that
What's up,
spark?
Brandon?
Hey, what's up, man? When did that spark kind of first start for you? I know when going through your rehab, you were basically another coach then, so I know you were kind of thinking probably coaching career at that point. But was it before all that, or was it when Frost was here the first time? I know you're focused on playing and all that stuff, but to be in the position you are now, at what point of your playing career did you envision you'd be in this role?
Yeah, I said it earlier. My dad was, my coach growing up, and my parents run a youth football league, so football's always
You've been around it.
Been in my family. And when I came here as a freshman, one thing I asked Coach Frost was, in the recruiting process, is if I ever wanted to get into coaching, could I GA for you? And he said yes, and that was a big reason why I wanted to come into UCF. So it was always at the forefront of my mind, but I kind of thought more high school, playing the NFL, make a living, and just move back to Hawaii one day, and maybe that'll still happen. Who knows? But coaching's always been a passion. I think just how I played and how I prepared, how I helped the team get prepared, was an extension of the coaching staff. And what I was saying earlier, that's what quarterbacks got to do. You got to get your guys prepared. We only have X amount of hours allotted for us to be around you. At the end of the day, it's on us as a position room. And then getting hurt. Dylan coming in here just like a little brother to me from back home, and just teaching him what I know as a player, and seeing him do his thing, getting on the headset for those 2 years I was rehabbing, and chiming in to play calls and things like that. It was fun. It was super fun. And then the 1 year up north, and that time was a good learning experience, to say the least. And then the last 2 years up at Tennessee it's been a heck of a journey. But coaching has kind of always been in my blood. I don't really say from my dad, just learning from him, and the way he works, his consistency, his attention to detail, and then just learning from every coach I've been around. It's not work, man. This is so much fun.
Coach, take us to the beginning of the offseason. When did you start realizing that this position would be available for you and you were the guy for the job?
It was last regular season game, about an hour after we played Vanderbilt up there. Saw the news about Coach Malzahn, and then got some phone calls from people out here, and just heard some murmurs over the next couple of days. Had some phone calls and knew that this was a possibility, and and then it became a reality a week later. And Coach Frost called me, asked me to come down. I was like, well, let me talk to Coach Hype first, just out of respect for him, because these things happen fast, right? So it was a week later when I knew Coach Frost wanted me down here, and in all reality, I wanted to be down here, but out of respect for Coach Hype, I had to go talk to him first. Just everything he's done for me in the profession, and leaving there the right way was important to me, and Coach Frost, Coach Hype as well, just mutual respect they have for each other. So it was about a week process, just hearing murmurs and then it finally becoming a reality. And, I had an idea it might happen, but when it really happened, like when I first got here, I was like, man, this doesn't even really feel real. It kind of felt weird, to be honest.
What's that reception been like? I mean, since you've been, I know you met your wife here. I know this is a special place. You were at a fan event, donor event last week. I know you probably took 1 million pictures with people. So what's it like, just kind of the reception has been?
Yeah,
like?
just the outpour of support. It might even be more than when we were here the first time. And I'm just grateful to be back. Grateful to be back where we started something special, and hopefully we can keep building on it.
I'm sure during Scott Frost's introductory presser, you probably saw the teaser where he said, "I know somebody else who can wear this number." What was going through your mind? And did you know at that time that was a thing?
Like I said, there was conversations leading up to it. Yes. Yeah.
And then to further mention, Frost had a recent interview with Mark where he said he doesn't hire coaches as friends or just because he didn't hire you just because you played for him, but he thinks that you can be a superstar coach in college football. What confidence does that instill in you?
Well, one, it humbles me just, because I still have a lot to learn, and, but for someone that I look up to, more than most people, that does mean a lot, and someone that is a superstar, in my opinion, in this profession. And as a player, as a coach, an OC, a head coach, he's done it all. It does mean a lot, but, you don't get what you deserve, you get what you earn. So to me, got to go earn, that title, got to go earn, whatever we want to go get as a team here. And really at the end of the day, it's just pouring into these guys, teaching them what I know, and letting them putting them in a position to go make plays, and I believe we'll do that.
What kind of responsibilities did you have at Tennessee with Coach Hype? Did he have you in different positions, like game days? Were you upstairs on the field? Just kind of what did you take away from those 2 years that kind of helped prepare you for your first full-time position?
Yeah, up there, it was kind of a combination of, doing GA analyst work and quarterback coach work, just with everything that goes on at a place like that where, QB coaches can't always be in the room, so now they'll ask me to run a meeting and things like that. But everything from opponent game breakdown to, opponent reports to, coming up with play ideas, red zone reports, things like that. And then game day wise, spent part of my time there on the field with the quarterbacks, and then part of my time up there with the OC in the box this past season. So it was a great learning experience. I nothing but love and respect for those guys up there, man, and everything that I learned in those 2 years.
Coach, now being the QB coach here after playing here and having those successful seasons, kind of feel like it's came full circle, and you probably went through a lot in those past couple of years. What are some of the best lessons that you've learned and eventually want to pass on to the younger generation?
More than anything, football is just a game. We pour so much into it, and I think more than anything, it's cliche to say, but football is what you do. It's not who you are. Could be like that. I've seen it in my own life, just game get taken away from you, and if you put all your eggs in that basket, it's going to let you down at some point. Tom Brady retires, they still play, football games, right? McKenzie Milton gets hurt, they still finish the game, play another game the next week. Like this thing is a never-ending cycle of, the ball's going to get put down, someone else is going to take your spot, and that's just the reality of this game. And one day, reality is going to hit you. This game's over, and who are you? What do you got to show for it? And for me now, being a husband, being a father, and to me, coaching is just an avenue to pour into these guys. And that's why I coach. Coach Hype, the one thing he mentioned to me when I was going through my interview process up there at Tennessee, he's like, KZ, I didn't always see it this way, but coaching is a form of ministry. And you can take that a number of ways, but the way I see it, I'm put in a position to go spread the gospel with these kids, and that's why I coach. So more than anything, that's what I want to do, pour into these kids and, teach them that this game is just a game, but if we're going to do it, man, let's go win. Let's put our best foot forward, be the best players we can possibly be, but also I look at my time here as a player, I didn't always set the best example for my teammates. So I'm hoping that when I pour into these QBs, that's my goal, is they'll be quality men and ready to lead their families by the time they get out of here.
January is a big recruiting month. We saw some offers to guys at Hawaii. I imagine you were a big part of that. And what's kind of going to be your philosophy going forward? Are you recruiting Hawaii? Are you kind of overseeing quarterback recruitment? What's kind of your responsibilities as far as that goes?
Yeah, so it's really hard to leave the state of Florida for good reason. There's so much talent out here. But quarterbacks, I'll go all over the country to go find us some guys. But to me, Hawaii and really just the Polynesian community in general, they got a unique thing with football, man. And I've seen it here personally, having guys that are, team-oriented, family-oriented guys, from myself to Dylan, Lokahi, other guys we had from Hawaii, like, they bring a love and care that isn't always normal to some people. And when it's about the team and not always about me, that's important. And I just think Hawaii kids bring that. And then there's just a level of toughness that comes from the island. So we'll recruit Hawaii a little bit. Hopefully we can get some guys out here. We just signed one this past period, and we're super fired up about him. You turn on his tape, man. He's a mean dude. So yes, I want to get some Hawaii kids out here, but we got to get the right ones too. So that's the plan.
Hey, Coach, how has
Last question.
And I'm sorry if your answer was already, but
It's okay.
how has your perspective of the game changed since transitioning from player to coach?
Yeah, like I said earlier, just I used to think football was everything, and it's still a big part of my life because it's my profession. But at some point, this game's going to end for these guys, for everybody. I'll stop coaching at some point, and really, is what fruit do you want your life to bear? Is it you threw a bunch of touchdowns, or you poured into the people around you to help them get to where they wanted to go? And for me, that's starts one with my family, and then two, with the guys that I'm coaching up in the locker room.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate
Thanks a lot,
y'all.
Coach.
Thank you, guys.